Gas up the Jeep, it's good to be free. Load up the pans and fishing poles. The highway is long, the wheels turning round. Pack up the cook stove and the bowls. Arlo and I, we hit the open road. Arlo and I are on the road.
I'm back in the kitchen, and I have all of that really pretty witch's butter that we collected out in the woods today. Now I cleaned all this up. It's kind of time consuming because it has all those little lobes on it. As a matter of fact, this is also called yellow brain fungus because it kind of has that shape of a brain, if you can see that, the texture and all those little lobes and stuff in there. So those collect lots of dirt and pine needles and things like that. So I took the time to clean this up really well. So I'm ready to get started with our recipe. Another thing I noticed was how much this really looks like uni, which gives me an idea for another video in the future, vegetarian uni. So anyway, what I was thinking about doing today is I was going to make what I'm going to call a witch's Waldorf. So I'm going to make a witch's butter Waldorf salad. But I'm going to use all the traditional flavors of a Waldorf salad. I'm just going to add my witch's butter, which is going to add that nice kind of, I don't know, gelatinous, rubbery kind of texture, kind of like gummy bear kind of texture. But what I'm going to do with this, and also a beautiful color to our Waldorf salad. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pickle this with sugar, cider vinegar, and some pickling spice. So that's going to give it that nice tangy kind of fall flavor, and I'm going to mix that in with our Waldorf salad. So the first project that we're going to do is we're going to make our pickling brine, and then I'm going to pickle I'm actually just going to bring my pickling brine up to a simmer, and then I'm going to strain it out, and then I'm going to throw my witch's butter into it and just let it cool in the brine or in that pickling liquid. And while that's sitting in the brine and absorbing all those nice pickling flavors, I will get the rest of my ingredients going. So anyway, let's get started on that. Okay, I brought everything over to the stove here. So the first thing we're going to do, we have our pan getting hot. I have some apple cider vinegar. You can use any vinegar, but I think the apple cider vinegar will add that nice fall flavor. And some sugar. The proportions here aren't really that particularly important, but let's see, some salt. This is a little salt and pepper. And then I have some just traditional pickling spice. I'll put some of that in there. Put quite a bit in there. I want to have that nice kind of cinnamony, clovey kind of a flavor to it. We're just going to bring this up to a simmer. We want to dissolve that sugar and get all these kind of spices infused into this sugar and vinegar mixture. All right, our pickling brine is coming up to a nice little simmer. We're going to let this go just for a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to strain it out. I'm going to take it over here, and I want to strain out the spices. Okay, I'm going to put my pan back on the stove. I'm going to add my syrup, my brine, back into the pan. And then I'm going to add our witch's butter. We're going to bring this back up to a simmer. Just like that. And I'm going to turn off the heat, push this to the side, and I'm going to let this cool in the brine. So while our witch's butter is cooling in the brine over there, I'm going to get the rest of our Waldorf salad put together. So I'm really using just traditional Waldorf salad ingredients. I have some apples. I'm going to use Granny Smith and Fuji apple. I'm going to use one of each because I'm only making a small batch, but I like the red and the green, a tart and a sweet. Have some celery, of course, some grapes here, walnuts, and some salt and pepper, and then of course some mayonnaise. I'm just going to small dice all of this up. Okay. Okay, that was about 4 stalks of celery. And then we'll do some of our apple. So I think I'm gonna do 1 of each apple, 1 red and 1 green. Okay. And I'm just going to cut these grapes in half. Okay, so we have our apples and our celery and our grapes. I'm going to also add our walnuts and then a little bit of salt and pepper, and then some this Duke's mayonnaise. A little bit more mayonnaise. Now, some people might add sugar also to this. They might make a dressing with the mayonnaise and the sugar. But since we have our witch's butter cooked in a sugar brine, I'm going to have a little bit of that in here. It's going to add enough sweetness, I think. Of course, you have the sweet apples and the sweet grapes as well. But I think that sugar brine should add all the sweetness that we need. Okay, that's it. We're just going to let this sit while our witch's butter cools down in the brine, and then we're going to add that next. So just a couple more minutes. All right, I'm back. This is my witch's butter that's been cooling in the brine. It's not completely cool, but it's pretty close. So then I'm going to strain out this witch's butter from the brine. And then I'm going to put that right into our Witch's Waldorf salad. I'm also going to take a little bit of that brine and put that in there. We can add more if we need to. Actually, it looks pretty cool in there. It looks like mandarin oranges, which gives me another idea for possibly a future video. That tastes pretty good. I'm going to add some more of this brine. That adds that nice sharpness. All right, since I am putting this up on Halloween, I have this little, what is this, Frankenstein bowl. So I'm going to put it in there. Almost can fit all of that in there. All right, there it is. What I'm going to call our Witch's Waldorf, which I put in this Frankenstein bowl for Halloween. Happy Halloween, by the way. It smells really good. I'm going to try a little bit of this. Make sure I get some of that witch's butter in here. The most important thing. Okay. All right, here we go. First, I'm going to try some of that witch's butter. It's a very, very pleasant kind of soft, gummy kind of a texture, and it's really taken on those pickling spices and the vinegar and the sugar. It really tastes like a nice little tart, little sweet tart kind of a gummy in there. Nice. Contrast actually to all the little crunchy bits in here, the apples and the celery and of course the walnuts. It's like your classic Waldorf salad kicked up. Now mine is really tart because I added quite a bit of that pickling brine back into the salad here because I like that. But you can add as little or as much of that as you like. Some more of that witch's butter. I really like that texture. Like I said, in contrast with all of the crisp, crunchy apples and celery. Super nice. Anyway, there you go. Our Witch's Waldorf. Kind of a fun alternative to a regular Waldorf salad if you do have the witch's butter growing in your area. And now's the time. At least around here, we've had so much rain, and you saw it was all over the place right now. So I took the opportunity to gather a bunch of it, and this really came out really, really nice. If you have it in your area, yeah, give it a try. You might have to wait till next season if you don't have it right now. Anyway, thank you for following along on our adventure. We had fun out in the woods picking mushrooms. Also had a little bear experience. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed following along. If you like this video,
Gas up the Jeep.
subscribe.
It's fun to be free. Load up the pans and fishing poles. Arlo and I, we hit the open road. Arlo and I on the road.